Okay, you know it's a good deal when Kerry McNally is dancing. You'll see him in just a second. I should have a bone to pick with him. I got this last year. It sold out early last year. It didn't have as much stuff. This is 33% more heating capability and capacity. You are also looking at an HSN exclusive. Warm Living is a brand that is known and recognized around America, but they are doing this only for us. Now listen, Florida hasn't quite caught up with the rest of the nation when it comes to a cold snap. But let me just say, 12 months out of the year. So even though we're catching up, and I know my mom in Minnesota is like, oh, please, like I want to hear from this Miss 90 degrees today. My mom was starting to complain about a snowstorm. They have an impending snowstorm actually in the next couple of days. So they're already at that freezing point. My mom's got arthritis, I've got arthritis, and let's be honest, when it's cold, it doesn't matter if you've got some dexterity issues or not. That's just uncomfortable. So this is small but mighty. It's cute but cozy. And even for me and here in Florida, this is how I want to be warmed. It is infrared heat. It is the lowest price we've ever offered. It is already in sellout quantities. We started with 7 colors. We're down to 5. If you check Pinterest boards, people are DIYing the world out of this. You don't need a contracting license. You don't need a flue. There are no cinders, no embers. It's cute, it's cozy, it's bright, but it's going to warm you like the warmth of the sun. So you just choose which color you would like. So in the navy, we are okay, and I say okay, even though we've sold more than half the quantity in its entirety. Oh, actually 2/3 of the quantity gone. In fact, this will be one of your final airings for the day. So over 12,000 already gone. That's a good portion of the day's inventory. The gray is one of those, I say, okay-ish in terms of availability. Black is really, I guess you could say for all intents and purposes, the traditional look. Lowest price, 33% more warmth, warming you like the rays of the sun. Now, Kerry's gonna talk about how you can use this, but it's 12 months out of the year. So you can use it with warmth, you can use it with light, you can operate them independently. So it's 12 months out of the year, cozy and quiet. The teal is, we brought in 1,100, we have 150 remaining, okay? And then I loves this copper. 2,100 brought in, final 100, 671-552. It's on a 5-pay flex pay for Columbus Day weekend. It's a $20 bill. It's free shipping. It's our extended holiday return policy. So cozy, cute, powerful, bright, and you got until January to try it as you buy it. Come on down, Kerry McNally. You know, and I know, was it last year you bought one for your dad too? This is Kerry, by the way.
Shannon, Kerry.
Exactly.
Shannon. Just go to Ireland, you'll find both of us.
Yeah, exactly, right? But so I know I sent one to my parents last year, before the Christmas season.
Sure.
And it's funny because I stay in the basement, so it's not like a real bedroom. But because this is down there,
sure,
it looks like a home. You know how they always used to say, the home is where the heart is, home is where the hearth is.
Hearth is.
Exactly.
Well, I see what you did
know. There. But this is even better and a better price than what you did last year, yes, Mr. Man.
And it's a triple threat because it's the latest in technology, it's a gorgeous design, and it's at a phenomenal price. And what is it, 20 bucks to get it home? I say get a couple, that's what people have been doing all day.
Yeah,
but let's talk about the technology. Okay. Infrared heat, why is it different? Well, the second you turn on oil, gas, or electric, just like that, every bit of moisture in the air is gone. Zapped. It just evaporates, right? This is a traditional, on your screen right now, the old kind of, electric space heater we used to have.
Yep.
It looked like a ray gun from a bad 60s science fiction movie, and you could put a hot dog on it. It smelled when you turned it on. It was downright dangerous. It made noise. Right. Infrared heating technology is completely different. It's basically like the safe rays of the sun. So it warms you subcutaneously. Now I know that's a big word. It simply means from the inside out. Like on a cold day when you have a warm meal or a great hot bowl of soup, it warms you from the inside out. You step out on a cold day into the sun and you're warmed from the inside out. That's what this does. It heats objects in the room like you, your animals, the chair you're sitting in, the bed you're sleeping in, and it doesn't remove all the moisture from the air. So it doesn't dry out your skin, and your skin isn't all cracked and dried out, your sinuses, your eyes. You're not constantly irrigating your eyes or your contact lenses. And while it does that, this thing packs a wallop.
It does.
We're talking about heating 1,000 square feet or more, depending upon the construction. Wow. So when we look at something like that's this size, it's a couple of, less than 3 feet, it weighs less than 13 pounds, it's 16.5 inches from left to right, it can heat a space of up to 1,000 square feet. How big is that, Shannon Smith?
Probably bigger than most,
Pre-war construction houses
right.
are about 1,200 square feet. Any basement, finished or not, is 900.
Yep.
A 2-car garage is 750. So a kitchen, living room area, that's probably right around 800 square feet. A master bedroom suite with a big bathroom, that's around 900 square feet. So this thing has it covered. Now take a look at the animation. If we turn this from the side, you'll see how it works.
Yep.
All the cold air is brought in through the back of the unit, represented here by the blue arrows. It goes up, around, and over and under those infrared bulbs, and it's heated up to hundreds and hundreds of degrees. And that's how you're able to heat a really large area with such a small and beautifully designed unit. And as we dim the lights, let's get there together, shall we? We may have made them too dark in here. But when you turn down the lights, even just a little bit, you feel like you're looking at a wood-burning stove.
You do.
I mean, that's the beauty of it. Without the ash, without buying a cord of wood, without the danger. This has built-in safety features, which I'm really proud of. It has a tip-over switch. So if it's falling down, it will shut itself off before it ever hits the ground.
Nice.
If for any reason it ever overheats, it shuts it off automatically. So I would encourage people at this price with these colors that are going to be sold out here in this hour, get one for yourself and then send one to a loved one.
Do it.
Because I know it sounds cliche, it's Madison Avenue copy, but this is the gift that keeps on giving.
It does, and you know what, factor out, okay, let's factor out the cozy and the comfort, and we say, home is where the heart, home is where the hearth is.
Sure.
How much money can we save you? Now, certainly we can't quantify it, you're gonna save X, Y, Z, but first of all, why are you kicking on the furnace when you just want to be warm in the bedroom?
Exactly.
Why are you kicking on the furnace when you just need to be, warm in the living room where you're watching TV?
Yeah, if temperatures drop in your area down into the 50s or the 60s, we just automatically go and we turn the entire house, condo or co-op, up to 72, 73. Take the zone heating challenge. Everybody's been doing it all day long.
Yeah.
Get this home and see how deep into the winter you can go without turning the heat on at all.
Right.
Seriously, that's what so many people have done. In the Carolinas last year, my parents, I got them one for upstairs and one for downstairs in the townhome. They didn't turn it on all year long.
No kidding.
My dad's part of the greatest generation. I sent him one. In North Carolina, I sent my eldest brother one in Dover, New Hampshire, and I sent the third one to my brother in Chicago. I still get emails. I still get wonderful comments. It is the gift that keeps on giving, and if you have somebody that you really love, that's maybe older or is always cold and cranky, that's because our joints, our hands, our muscles, our back, we all get tense because it's so cold, and subsequently, we're uncomfortable.
It's true.
This is a wonderful way to check off a couple of gifts on your holiday list.
A couple of quick quantity updates. If you, copper is almost gone. Okay, it is the last call on that copper. And then Steve, you said the teal will be next, right? Okay, 120 only left in that teal. Black, of course, if you want the most traditional choice, if you will. Silver, I think, is that kind of, decorator color right now if you go to those stores, the ones. And then of course we've got our navy. Here's the thing though, you're not gonna need that extended holiday return policy. But to Carrie's point, especially if you're getting it upstairs, downstairs, if you're getting it for multiple rooms, if you're sending it across the miles. I should point out, I live here in Florida, that's where HSN is based, but if I send this to my mom in Minnesota, I'm not paying a dime for shipping.
I love that. You can send it to 3 separate people.
Right.
Not pay a dime in shipping and handling. The total cost is $60.
Right.
You checked off 3 people on your list, sent them to people where temperatures have literally plummeted, and you say to yourself, I love that.
Right.
I just did that tonight on a Saturday. Got those 3 names checked off the list,
No
and
kidding.
I know that I'm going to hear back from them that this thing really works. It's wonderful to look at, and it does a wonderful job in saving a lot of money. Zone heating saves you money. If you typically kept your thermostat at 68 or maybe 72 in the dead of winter, drop it down to 60. Right. Turn this up to 72. It will be 72 in that room or in that area. And I'm going to show you why. Yeah. This is a really cool piece of science.
Just if you see these temperatures, now again.
Oh yeah, here we go, freezing.
Florida ain't quite caught up yet.
Not yet.
But 12 months out of the year. So here in Florida, I could use this with heat or without, and Carrie will walk you through all the different features. But as an example, Reno is 29.
Ouch.
My refrigerator at home is 40 degrees.
Right.
Let me say that again.
Yes.
Reno is 29. I have a digital thermostat in my refrigerator because I do a lot of cooking. It's 40. It's warmer in my refrigerator than it is in Reno. It's warmer in my refrigerator than it is in Salt Lake City or Denver.
Right.
But 12 months out of the year, and remember, this is a first come, first serve. This is one of your last opportunities. Copper is gone. Teal is going to go next. We are going to leave it out there for just a moment. Carrie, let's walk through some of the features again.
Sure.
And he is a typical man. He's holding that remote control.
I've got the remote.
Like
I've got the laser thermometer. Yeah, this is really cool. This is a paper that they use in science class, right? It's called thermopaper. It changes color. Remember your old mood rings? It changes color based on temperature. So it is jet black right now. And all I'm going to do is drop it right in front of this teal unit and watch what happens live on the air. Isn't that wild? That's how quickly it changed colors. And it's going back to black, and then here it goes back to blue again. So cool. Well, how is it and why is it doing that? Well, this is completely cool to the touch, right? So if I take this laser thermometer, very popular here with Wolfgang Puck and Christopher, all those guys, all the chefs, they use this to take the temperature of meat, right? I'm gonna take the temperature of the top of this unit because it's completely cool to the touch, the front, the back, the top. So I'll take the temperature of the top. It's at 72 degrees, right? That's a lot warmer in this room than it usually is. Usually it's about 62 degrees in here because of all the lights. Now I'm gonna take the temperature of the air coming out of the bottom of the unit. Let's take a look at this, live on the air. You guys see that at home? 604 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right.
That's why this beautiful little stove can heat a space up to 1,000 square feet. Now, it's not gonna be 600 degrees in your home. It's going to move that beautiful air around that space and heat that entire area. And if you say to yourself, oh, now I've gotten a little too hot, you have a universal remote. You point it at it, you press it, you take it down to 71 or 69. Yeah. You're completely in control. This is a little luxury that goes a long way.
It does indeed, and boy, you're not going to see it for much longer. It is the last chance for the season. It is the last chance for the year. So it's a better price than we did it before.
Yep.
You're getting more heat than you ever got before.
There are 3 infrared bulbs in this one, so you have 33% more than you had last year.
Yep.
And last year it was wildly popular. And I love the idea that you guys are running the extended return policy.
Absolutely, until the end of January. Now, so a couple of things about that. Whether you've shopped here or not, Warm Living is a nationally recognized brand. They did this exclusively for us. It is the lowest price in history. It is your last chance for the year. One of your last airings on our Today's Special, but the only Today's Special for the year. It is a 12-month out of the year cozy comfort. You can use it with the heat or without. If you just want to enjoy that wonderful, inviting, captivating look of the glowing embers of the fireplace, you can. No soot, no embers, no flue, no chimney, no worries. Perfect size. If you do a little Pinterest search, honest to goodness, I mean, people are so bonkers about these things.
Dozens of pages on Pinterest.
No, there really are. I mean, they'll put them inside of like where an existing fireplace
That's a great idea. I love that idea.
They'll float them in the center of the room. I mean, there are a lot of creative ideas. The whole point is, though, you will not have the opportunity to get this after today. So 671-552. The other thing about this, and I kind of led this at the start of the presentation, it is warming you as if it were the light of the sun.
Yes, it warms you subcutaneously, and I know it sounds like a big fancy word, probably a crossword puzzle, but it means from the inside out. It's analogous to stepping out on a really freezing day, from the shade into the sun, and immediately you feel warm from the inside out. This is a safe way to heat. It's infrared technology that's absolutely safe for you, for your pets, for your plants, for everybody. And it's almost like, because you lived in Minnesota for a long time, and so did I for a long time. You come in from skiing, or you're coming from hiking, or whatever it is, and then you have a bowl of soup. And you're warmed from the inside. But the beauty of this too, specifically for you ladies out there, is that it does not, unlike oil, gas, or electric forced heat, it does not remove all of the moisture from the air. So it's not gonna dry out your skin or your eyes or your sinuses or your lungs. That's the beauty of infrared technology. And it's the 21st century. We deserve it. It's our regal reward to have the best technology in the best looking unit, a beautiful piece of furniture. Did we ever think our phones would become televisions?
Good point.
Did we ever think we could talk to somebody overseas live in London in real time? No. Well, that's the world we live in. Technology has taken us to a whole new wonderful place.
So this will be the last show for what I would call the fashion colors, meaning the copper is gone, the teal is almost gone. We have a few dozen, about 80 only on that teal. Of course, black if you're going for a more traditional choice. Silver, or that soft gray, there are a couple of stores where everybody's doing kind of like that gray look. And then navy is also a nice traditional choice. You'll also notice throughout this presentation, and I wasn't even thinking about it, and now granted, this is from somebody who's in the kitchen like a lot, like for hours and hours and hours. So I'm used to I've got a high threshold of tolerance. I'm like, this is comfortable.
Oh yeah, it's completely cool to the touch.
This is comfortable.
The front, the back, the sides, absolutely. Now down here where the heating elements are, yes, it gets very hot indeed. Absolutely. I mean, that's just common sense. This is very warm down there. But the rest of the unit is completely cool to the touch. And when we talk about 1,000 square feet, once again, if you're just tuning in, welcome. 1,000 square feet is basically the size of any finished basement. It's around 900. You can Google it. I did. Pre-war architecture, and we have tens of millions of homes around the country in neighborhoods. They're only 1,200 square feet.
Right.
They're brick houses. They've got 2 bedrooms, 2 baths in them. You can heat the whole house with this.
You could.
You could heat a 2-car garage. That's only 750 square feet. But if you decided to not use your garage and turn it into a man cave or whatever, down in the basement, the craft room, any combination of a master bedroom and a bathroom, you're covered.
You are.
Any living room / kitchen, you are good to go, because 1,000 square feet is a lot of space. So drop it like the hammer. Drop that thermostat way down, or don't turn the heat on until you get really deep into the winter. Maybe December 15th, maybe around the holidays.
Absolutely.
And just use this to heat. It'll pay for itself over and over again.
And you know what? You've got that challenge until January 31st.
Sure.
So even like in Minnesota, you talk about, you come in from the cold and you have that shock. Put it in the mudroom. Put it in the 3-season porch.
Great idea.
Because that's where you're kind of transitioning. You got to get the boots off. Especially they're hauling in the Christmas tree. They're hauling in the packages. They're hauling in the this. They're hauling in the that. Here's one thing that we found to be true last year, even when it was more money and did not generate as much heat. So 33% more heat. People came back and they said, well, gosh, I love it, but I wish I would have got another one, or I wish I would have got one for fill in the blank.
Right.
So whether you're an empty nester, whether, you're talking about that condo, whether it's the dormitory, you don't have to worry about being zoned. You don't have to worry about construction. You don't have to worry about a chimney or a flue. Yet I will say this, and when Carrie and I sold this last year, and I grew up with fireplaces. I still go home, 2 or 3 times a year. But you know what's so sad? I never go home like in the summer. I always go home like in the winter. So, just to remind me.
Sure.
But it really does have the look, the feel of a real fire without the hassle.
You're getting the flicker of the flames there at the top, but you're also getting the ambers, the glow of the log, like it's been going on for hours. You've had that fire going for a couple of hours. Absolutely. And then down at the bottom, that's the infrared bulb that's sort of flickering as well. Now remember, you can use this year round, which means you can have that beautiful view in the middle of July and not use the heating element. Notice also that it turns itself on and off once it's reached temperature. Notice that some of them have the glow underneath and some of them don't, because they've reached the assigned temperature. Right. And they'll always do that. It has safety features, if you're just tuning in, that if it ever starts to tip over, it will shut itself off before it hits the floor. If it ever heats up for some reason, it will shut itself off. So much safer safer than actually spending money, and you said it at the top of the show, on a wood-burning stove. They're thousands of dollars. You have to have a flue. You got to get a permit. You're sending stuff out into the atmosphere. You've got to buy cords of wood. You got to get rid of the ash. It's ridiculous. This way, you have the look and the feel without the hassle.
True story. I have a fireplace in my living room right now, which, by the way, I couldn't even tell you the last time I used that thing. Part of the reason I haven't used it is that chimney needs to be cleaned. So I'm like afraid to light a fire in there. I mean, in all seriousness. But moreover, you get the look, you get the feel, you get the crackle, you get the warmth, you get it with warmth or without. You can move it. That fireplace, I could use that square footage in my living room. If I want to put this in my master bedroom, go ahead. If I want to put it, you know, in the dining room, you know, for Thanksgiving dinner,
absolutely, you can move it around.
Go ahead. You want to put it in the mudroom? Go ahead. You want to put it in the garage? Go ahead. Wherever you want that great warmth. And it was funny. I know you remember me asking, because I usually am a hothouse flower, but I asked you last year. I'm like, okay. Florida, 12 months out of the year. You can use it with that heat function or without. Now, we do have our Protection Plus plan available. You might want to check with your service representatives for details, but I'll just tell you, get this at home. It's going to save you money. And if nothing else, now, listen, I am not basing this on any statistical research, but I would venture to guess that there is probably some study or some claim somewhere looking at a fireplace, I know, calms me down. You know what I mean? There's something that is, I don't know, subliminal in terms of its calming effect on people.
Here. Absolutely. You look at it and you just feel calm. It's like staring, you know, at bright twinkly lights, right? Or a sunset. It just calms you down. So I want to walk you through the actual digital panel on the front. Now, you can do this manually, but you don't have to, because we're going to include a universal remote. And when I say universal
Carrie,
remote,
I'm so sorry. I just don't want anybody to miss out. Steve, you said what, 4 dozen? Oh, Teal
is gone. Congratulations.
Okay,
Thank you,
don't
guys.
hang up. We took your phone calls into consideration. We've got the classics, if you want to say, you know, consider it that. You know, that's
the best seller.
That's the best seller. We do bring in more of the black, because that, of course, is kind of the quintessential look if you're going for that.
For sure.
This is kind of the little nouveau riche. Everybody's doing kind of that gray
I like
scheme
that.
right now.
It's got a matte finish to it. It looks a little stone kind of thing going on.
Most certainly. And the navy, we brought in 1,500. We now have the last 500.
Wow.
So brought in 1,500, last 500. If you are new to HSN, you can only get this here. Warm Living is a nationally recognized brand. They gave us 33% more heat. They gave us the lowest price in history. This is one of your last shows. We sold out of another 2 colors. We could easily sell out of that navy. Carrie, let's talk digital features, and then we have to show it off again.
Absolutely. So here on the front, remember, it's all completely cool to touch, even though these things are cranking. You have a couple of buttons here, and they're almost self-explanatory. That's your fan. There are 2 speeds. There's 1,500 watts and 1,000 watts, so it sips energy. 1,500 watts, that's a hairdryer. Up or down, pretty basic there. That's a timer. That gives you the opportunity to turn it on or off at a pre-designated time up to 12 hours.
Nice.
So if you want that to wake you up in the morning, because it's chilly out and you've got the thermostat down and you've taken the zone heating challenge, you can do that. Or you can say, you know, I like it cool at night once I'm in bed, right? So I want this to shut off about an hour after I climb into bed. This is the flame, so I can go 1, 2, 3, or 4, so I can have it at full, sort of a third, half, and then, you know, 10%, and then completely off. And remember, you can operate the flame with or without the heat, and there's just your on and off switch. And remember, you do get the universal remote as well. So my parents, I sent them 2 because they have a split level sort of loft, and my dad called me, said, "Curry, I cannot find the remote for downstairs. Anne has the remote for the upstairs area." I said, "Dad, they're universal. You can just use one or the other. The other one's probably under the couch." But he's a retired school teacher, part of the greatest generation, and he spends his day in front of this with his cat Mookie on his lap.
Okay, it's so funny. My producer's like, "You got to go to the other set because I have to take a color away."
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
So we're gonna show off the ambiance of this. Boy, this will be a show piece in your home. And what's funny is, boy, when I think of the money I spent on that fireplace in my living room, and you know, it was a whole thing. The Townhome Association had to, you know, grandfather it in and all this other kind of nonsense. And It's caused me more trouble than it's worth. But here's what's interesting. $99.95, you may have spent more on a throw pillow in your living room than you're spending on this. And do you know what? This is probably gonna turn the most heads, get the most compliments, get the most, where did you get that comments, then maybe anything, any amount of money that you spent in your living room, in your dining room,
Right.
in your, because it becomes a conversation piece. And you know, it's practicality with the purpose, because you could lower your heating costs as well.
Yes, this could save you a considerable amount of money. I mean, every house is different, insulation's different, you know, structure of it, for sure. But I mean, if you say to yourself, I typically like the temperature in my house in the winter, at, let's say 70 degrees, right?
Yeah.
That's comfortable. You could take it down to 60. Turn this on and see how long you can keep it at 60 and be comfortable as far into the winter as possible. And think about that. A 10-degree difference could mean a lot of money. So this ends up saving, you know, paying for itself in no time. And again, if you send it to somebody that you really care for and that you really love, it's a gift that keeps on giving and saves them money, right? And saves them hassle. And all you have to do is put the legs on. Obviously, I think you should, you know, be smart. Try to keep it about 3 feet or more away from the curtains would be smart, right? That's common sense. That's what we recommend. And as with any piece of electrical equipment, read the manual.
Yeah.
It took me about 6 minutes to read the manual. It takes about 5 minutes to put the legs on it. It's really so simple, and it really does the job. 1,000 square feet with this beautiful look, it's fantastic.
It is indeed, and it was funny because, Carrie, I was thinking of you when I was in bed. But here's why.
This is live television.
But I know,
They
it's
can
like,
hear us.
note to self.
Okay.
But, and yes, I'm at that age, but, so I'm trying to
You're
sleep.
at that age where you're thinking about me.
Well, you know.
Wow.
See, with a lead-in like that, I better have some kind of payoff for you.
Please.
But the covers were on, the covers were off. The covers
of
were
course.
on,
Yeah.
the covers
Oh, yeah,
were
we
off.
are at that
the
age.
Covers
I
were
see where
on,
you're
the
going.
covers were off.
Here, here.
And I thought of this, and I'm like, why can't my body be like that Today's Special and that infrared heat and always be maintained at the perfect temperature?
Exactly.
But, and I reason that out simply because it does feel like it's warming you from the inside out.
Yes.
Because even if you are cold, you know very well if you're using a traditional quote unquote space heater, you're cold, and then all of a sudden, you're so hot.
Yes.
You gotta crank it down.
Yep.
Right? So it's kind of like the covers are on, the covers are off.
Yeah.
And this is not like that. It doesn't suck all the moisture out of the room.
Nope.
It really does warm you down to your bones. And, you know, again, not making any crazy claims here, but as someone who does have joint concerns, when you are cold, you're not as comfortable.
No, you aren't.
And I'll leave it at that.
That's just a fact.
It's just a fact.
Yeah, for sure. And we all have people that we love out there that are cold all the time. And when we're cold, what happens? Our joints ache, you know, our muscles ache. We get tense in the back. When I get cold, I get knots in my back.
Yeah.
And again, we're not making any medical claims at all. But the bottom line is this will make sure that that loved one who's always cold is warm whenever they want to be. You have a remote control, so you don't have to get off the couch or you don't have to get out of bed. This will take it all the way up to 90 degrees or all the way down to 50 degrees.
Right.
It has built-in safety features that if it ever tips over, it will shut itself off before it hits the ground.
Yeah.
If you are an animal lover and a pet owner, as I am, my last name is McNally and I have 2 cats, Callie and Sally McNally, those animals will live, this one's sold out, they will live right here. They will just live in this general vicinity here, and it'll do your heart such good that they're comfortable and cozy, and most of all, they feel safe.
They really do. And, you know, I mentioned it earlier in the presentation. Now, I know you've been seeing that temperature gauge. I mean, it actually is no joke. A good portion of those cities are colder than the interior of my refrigerator. And they say it's actually going to get worse before it gets better, which I still say I'm a Minnesotan. I've lived in Florida for 25 years, but I'm a Minnesotan.
Yep.
And I can tell you for a fact, well, I'm no meteorologist, but when the temperatures start dropping that rapidly and that quickly, oh, honey, buckle up.
Oh, yes.
It's going to be a bumpy ride. And that is certainly not to be alarmist, but if you've lived up north, I mean, again, I still consider myself a Minnesotan. You're going to want this, and you will use it. And even if you do live in a warmer climate state like I do, I want to fall asleep to the look of a glowing fire.
Absolutely, without having to worry about the
do.
fireplace, right? You wouldn't really want to fall asleep with a fire going in your bedroom or with a fire going in your living room. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thanks to everybody out there for ordering more than one. People have been ordering more than one all day long because of that FlexPay and that free shipping and handling. And you get to go ahead and order one for yourself, and then send one to mom or send one to grandma or send one to that young couple that's getting started, because it is, I know it sounds cliche, but it is the gift that keeps on giving. And you'll get emails and Facebook posts, and you'll get people posting their stove on Pinterest and hashtagging you and all that other wonderful stuff that I'm starting to understand. But this is a wonderful gift of a hearth, but it's also a practical gift. If those loved ones are on a budget, and we're all on a budget, this is a great way to reduce your heating costs, whether you have oil, gas, or forced electric. Take the Zone Heating Challenge. Get this home and see how deep into the winter you can go without turning it on at all.
Yes.
Because let's face it, you may live in a 5-bedroom house, and you may spend most of your time in the living room and the kitchen.
Right.
So keep that thermostat down in that house and just keep it in the living room and the kitchen, and maybe keep one in the bedroom. And then see how deep into the winter you can go without really heating those other bedrooms and that den and that other area. If you have a finished basement, they're usually 900 square feet.
Yeah.
This is gonna heat an area of up to 1,000.
It is indeed. Money back guarantee until the end of January. You owe it to yourself or somebody that you love and care about. Give it a try. Call that number. Hey, by the way, I know we are busy. These are going. Actually, pay no attention to the band behind the curtain. Pay no attention to the teal. Teal is gone.
Sold out. Congratulations
Black,
if you got the teal.
we ordered more of. So okay-ish, but this is one of your last errands to get it. That gray, and now the navy is really kind of surpassing and kind of in the lead here. So about 450 only out of the 1,500 ordered. So actually 1,600 brought in. So Navy, we're getting close to saying last call as well. Even if it's somebody on a budget. And you know, I remember those cold nights in Minnesota, and I'm not afraid to say it. The house that I had was built, it was built by a masoner, so it was, you know, all built by hand, and you know, the house was like almost 100 years old. But you know, I was in radio, I was working a couple jobs. I used to sit, because I couldn't afford the heating costs, I would sit in my living room, no kidding, in long underwear and a winter jacket, just because I knew if I cranked the heat, then I wouldn't be able to afford the power bill.
And then the bill comes later. And of course, we're all subject to gas and oil prices fluctuating based on what's going on in the world.
Yeah, true story.
And the world's pretty unpredictable right now.
Right.
And that's honestly, electric prices, they don't really fluctuate that much. And this sips electricity. So yeah, it's a great gift for somebody that's on a budget, or if you're budget conscious. I just like the idea that you could go ahead and get it because it's gorgeous and it's heartwarming, and the kids love it, the pets love it, and if you end up saving a ton of money on your heating costs, go to Hawaii. Just go ahead and have that be fun money. Spend that money here on HSN on some other stuff. And we spend $100 at the grocery store. Right? I cannot go to the grocery store without spending $100. This, or a watch, or a piece of jewelry, or whatever, this is a practical gift that pays for itself over time. Now, I want to walk you through the technology again, if you're just tuning in. Infrared heating technology. This is the 21st century, and this is state of the art. On your screen right now is a representation of a traditional coil heater that we grew up, you know, using. Mom used it. It made noise. It smelled weird. It looked like it was a ray gun. These are infrared quartz bulbs. So they create safe infrared heat, and that's analogous to the safe rays from the sun, right? And they warm you subcutaneously from the inside out, like a warm bowl of soup. Now I want to show you this animation. What happens is the cold air comes in from behind the unit and moves up and over and around those infrared bulbs. And then the fan gently pushes that warm air out into the room. And how warm is it?
How warm is it,
Okay, let's go ahead and use the science right now. Okay. I'm going to use two things.
That copper's gone, the teal is gone.
So we'll do it here.
The navy may be gone by the next time
we
you're
still
on the
have
air
gray?
with Adam. Yes, we do still have gray.
So we're going to do this on the gray. So this is called thermal paper. Now, notice I can touch this. It's completely cool to the outside. Thermal paper, if you look at it, it changes color when it gets warm, right? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna drop this down in front of this and watch how quickly this changes color.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that wild?
That's cool.
Isn't that cool? Now I'm gonna take a thermometer. This is a laser thermometer. It sends a beam at anything. It takes its temperature. Now let's check the temperature of the top of the unit. It's 68 degrees. The top of the unit is 68 degrees. Now I'm gonna come in here and try to do this lefty, if I can. What do we got there? That says 858 degrees. Now your room is not gonna get 858 degrees, but now you can understand why something this size that weighs less than 13 pounds can heat a space that's 1,000 square feet.
And do it today, and well, I can't say quite only for this show, because Carrie will be back with Adam. However, when that happens,
we'll be down to like real bare bones colors.
In fact, it's hard to say if navy would be even available. So you might just be down to 2 colors. Now, it's still worth it, because remember, it's comfort, it's cozy, it's warm, it's 12 months out of the year. You can use it with, with the heat or without. And the whole idea is, yes, it's a name that you can trust.
Absolutely.
There's no downside to this. We're giving you more heat. We're giving you a better price. We're doing delivery direct. We can do free shipping. It's a $20 bill, 671-552. It's our extended holiday return policy. And it's also great if you do have seniors in your life. I think of my grandmother. I was fortunate to have her until she was in her 90s. But I remember in her later years in life, she's like, oh, she just didn't want a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? She's like, please, I just don't need a lot of stuff. I don't need a lot of, nicks. This she could appreciate, because this they will use. I mean, if your parents or grandparents, or if they're at that age, don't give me another teapot, don't give me another knick-knack, don't give me another this, another that. Give them something that they're going to use, that they're going to appreciate, and that's going to make them and you feel good every single time that they use it.
Yeah, it's here and here.
It is. It absolutely is. And remember, it's one of your last opportunities for the day. We are well more, I would say, more than 2/3 of the inventory already spoken for. We would love. Actually, we're really looking at 3/4 of the inventory spoken for. So I'm delighted that you're getting it. I'm proud of you, because not only are you going to save money, whether if it's for you, but you can't put a price on really the esoteric value that this is going to lend. I mean, yeah, it's cute. Yeah, it's going to warm that space, but there's something about it that just, you know how they have feel-good movies?
Yes.
It's like the feel-good purchase.
Oh, we love this in our house. We put on the Netflix and we crank this up, and it's just fantastic. And if it's too warm, you turn it down with the remote, or you just operate it with just the flame effect. Yeah. Because the lights are out, you're eating popcorn, you're watching the movies, and you got a fire going, but it's not a dangerous fire at all. Right. It's got all those wonderful safety features, and I love the fact that you're getting one for yourself and sending one as a gift.
What's the height and dimensions again?
It's under 3 feet tall, 16.5 inches wide, and weighs less than 13 pounds.
There you go. All right, Carrie, you are a force to be reckoned with. We'll see you later with Adam. All right, we've got much more gifts for the families.